Everybody else got more than me, so around me, but definitely a lot of rain, which we need for sure. But thinking about this coming week, we have next week starting on Sunday. The group's coming in on Saturday, but starting Sunday, we're going to have a gospel meeting. And I was going to have a flyer printed in the back, and I didn't get it done this morning, so I'll have it there tonight. But do encourage everybody to be involved as much as you can. We have Sunday morning class, Sunday morning sermon, and Sunday night sermon instead of class will be a sermon. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have our meeting continuing on at 7 o'clock Monday through Wednesday. Encourage everybody to be here. And not only that, we are going to have 10 students from Memphis here. And those students are coming up to doorknock. They're coming up to set up studies. And we're going to need people to help get people around. They don't know where they're going. I mean, we all have GPS, but there's a lot of roads that are not correct on GPS. We know that in this area, but we need everybody's help. And so if you can, you're able to, please be here as much as you can to help during the week next week. And then thinking about Sunday, thinking about our campaign that we have coming up, I think about John chapter 4. And in John chapter 4, Jesus was going through the area of Samaria. And we've talked about Samaria in the past and how the Jews looked at Samaria as a place that they avoided. And if we had our map up of Israel, you could see where the Jews would go across the Jordan, go up to Decapolis, which was a Gentile nation, and go back across to Galilee so that they did not have to go through Samaria. They hated Samaria. They didn't like the Samaritans. And in 1 Kings chapter 17, 20 through 28, you can read about the Samaritans and how they were a mix of the Assyrians and Jews. And so they were a mixed group of people. They weren't full-blood Jews. And so the Jews hated them. They looked down on them. But Jesus did not do that. And in John chapter 4, Jesus decides to go through Samaria. He sets his mind to go through Samaria, and he meets this woman. And we're not going to talk about that account, but we're going to skip over into John chapter 4 and starting in verse 30. And notice what is going on here. The Jews, Jesus is here with his apostles, his disciples, and they went off to get food. And Jesus has this conversation with this woman. And in verse 30, we hear that there are souls eager. And so it says, then they went out of the city and came to him. And as these people are coming out of the city, because of what this woman had said to the people in the city, Jesus looks and says in verse 35 this, do you not say there are still 4 months and then comes the harvest? Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look at the fields, for they are already white for harvest. You know, Jesus was in the area of Samaria close to the time of harvest. And we're in that period of time of harvest. But Jesus was not talking about the crops. He was talking about the people. Here, these people eager to hear Jesus comes out of the city, and Jesus looks at them and says, the field is white unto harvest. They're ready. They're ready to hear the gospel. They're ready to hear the message. They're ready to follow God. Their hearts and souls are ready. And as we go through this next week, our area is white unto harvest. Now, I'm not saying every person out there is going to be accepting to the gospel. We've already seen that. But there are souls that are ready to hear it. And it is our job to do what we can to reach them. And I want to look at, sometimes it can be hard to reach people, and there can be obstacles in the way. And when we look at society and we see how far away getting from godly principles, we wonder sometimes if there's any hope. Spending a lot of time in the combine, I've been spending a lot of time listening to the radio. And I tell you what, there's a lot of junk on the radio. I did not realize how bad it's getting. And you look at the songs that are on the radio and the things that they're talking about in the news and what's going on. You hear the news over and over again on our stations. You hear the things that's going on in our country. There's a lot of moral decline. in our world. And we start to wonder, is there any hope? But I want to look at this account. And there's three things that Jesus states here that it's going to fits right in with what I think we're going to be dealing with this coming week. Notice point one is lift up your eyes in spite of the obstacles. There's always obstacles. There's always obstacles in anything we do. There's always an obstacle. But it's knowing how to go past those obstacles. The first obstacle that Jesus faced was the fact that the Jews hated Samaritans. We already mentioned that. The Jews looked down on them. They avoided them. The Samaritans didn't care for them either. If you go to Luke chapter 9, Luke chapter 9, look at verse 51. Luke chapter 9 and verse 51. We didn't get to this passage this morning in our class, but we're going to spend a little time here on Wednesday. But Luke chapter 9, verse 51, it says, now it came to pass when the time had come for him to be received up, that he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem and sent messengers before his face. This is the same time as John chapter 4. And as they went, they entered a village of the